Hello, and in this video we're going to take a look at how you use LinkedIn via your mobile device. Now, really important to understand that 70% or more of LinkedIn members are going to be using mobile phones. So the information that you want to get across to them has to be mobile friendly. Now, a couple of key areas that we need to be aware of are firstly your professional headline and the opening line of your summary, which now sits here. So let's consider the professional headline first of all. 120 characters is the maximum you can include on your desktop computer's LinkedIn profile. Quite often when it's viewed via a mobile device, though, you will see fewer than 120 characters. So really important that you get across your key messages very early on in your professional headline. Now, the same applies to the summary. You can see here that you can see a couple of lines at most, and if someone wants to read my summary, what they're going to have to do is literally then click on the text, and that'll open up my summary in detail. But what if your key messages don't really entice the person to make that next step? What's clear then is you're going to have a couple of opening lines there that really encourage people, intrigue people that they want to go on and read your summary. Now, I'm not going to get into all the specifics in terms of how many characters you need for your professional headline and for your summary. I must admit, I've done my own count and listened to other experts as well. It does tend to vary slightly. The key thing is look at your profile via a mobile device and say, right, does it get across the key messages very early on? Now let's take a look at somebody else's profile. Here's a profile here on LinkedIn of someone I'm connected to. Mark is a good friend and business associate. So again, we know that his professional headline shows him as a transformational business leader. I'd certainly agree with that statement. And his summary, again, fairly limited in terms of what I can see. So these expert lines that suggest he's an expert in business strategy and transformation and B2B sales really are important. What else can I see, though, as I look down the mobile device? Well, firstly, I can see all Mark's connections. Now, depending on the settings that he's chosen, I may well be able to see them all, as I can do in this case, or it could be that I only get to see any that we share in common, that both Mark and I are both connected to at the first degree. In this case, Mark has left all his connections completely open. Now, as we move down the profile, I have the ability to endorse Mark if I so wish for a key skill that's showing, or just skip that. And now I can see Mark's articles that he's posted. I can see how many followers that he has, which is a combination of Mark's LinkedIn connections and people that have chosen just to follow him. And the articles now scroll from left to right. So I can look at any of these articles at any time and say, am I interested in reading more about this particular topic? Then I can engage with Mark's post and like it and leave a comment, as a number of other people have done there. As I move down Mark's profiles, I can see his activity. His activity is anything that he's liked or engaged with or commented on. And that might be a really useful tactic, as I've talked about before, to go into any activity that Mark's engaged with and ask him a question about his thoughts on a particular topic, or like or share anything that he has engaged with. As we move down the profile, the highlights will essentially be LinkedIn's way of showing us anything that we share in common. The fact that Mark has worked closely with me as an associate at Link to Success shows here. We also have 140 mutual connections in common, and we also share some LinkedIn groups in common. As I move down Mark's profile, I get to see his current and previous job roles. And of course, if I want to find more about his association with any business, I can open up Mark's profile, and that'll take me straight to his company page. And again, if I go back to Mark's profile now and scroll further down, I can see his schooling and education, any volunteering he's done, and just a little bit more rounded information about Mark's background. Here is a list of his skills and endorsements, and again, I can endorse him for any of the skills, such as business planning, for example, that's just here. And then I can see any recommendations that Mark has, including one provided by myself. Projects, publications, anything else that gives us a really more rounded feel about Mark and his experience is shown at the bottom here. And then finally, Mark's contact details, which could include his phone number and email address if that had been displayed. We just click see more, and now we can see all Mark's information. So I've got lots of different ways that I could engage with Mark other than LinkedIn. Finally, interest sections. I think this is really useful at the bottom here. This shows me all sorts of information related to causes Mark cares about, interests that he has, key influencers that he follows. So it gives me a feel about Mark and the sort of people he likes to engage with, and maybe we share some things in common. Which are the company pages that he's chosen to follow? Which are the groups that we don't necessarily share in common, but Mark has joined? Is it worth me joining any of those groups as well? And then once again, we get to see his education and some of the key channels of information that Mark is interested in. Now, one of the next things I want to share with you is just how to use search in the mobile device. For those of you who read my previous blog where we looked at search and using Boolean search operators, exactly the same sort of process can be applied to the mobile device. So if I come to the top search bar at the top of the page here, just get rid of my name and put in a search using the Boolean operators that you can see here, then LinkedIn will allow me, as soon as I press the search button in the bottom right hand corner there, it'll bring me up with a list of people, jobs, posts and companies that I may be interested in. You can see I specifically chose Managing Director and using the Boolean search operator, so Managing Director with speech marks around it, and Leeds, to bring me up a list of Managing Directors based in the Leeds area. Now initially you can see that I have a number of first degree connections, but the beauty of the mobile device is if I come to this option in the top right here, these horizontal lines going in slightly different directions, then I'm allowed to refine that search to say that I'm looking for managing directors possibly who are just second degree connections. So that information, when I press done, will filter that information, and now I get a list of managing directors in Leeds at the second degree. If I come back to the option here and say I want to filter that further still, then I can change the location here. As you can see, I could put maybe another town in there. I can look at some of the companies here that these managing directors work at. I could maybe actually search and add the name of a company in here that I think may well be in the Leeds area that would be of interest to me. I can change the industries. So if I move over here specifically and click on industry, I can say that I'm looking for maybe something like accounting as an industry. I click done at the top of the page, and I now get a list of people that have roles in accountancy here who are managing directors. So in this video, I just wanted to give you a feel for the mobile device and just show you the level of flexibility. Now, the reason why this is so important, I was talking to a client just this week who was asking about, how can I do more to engage with people on LinkedIn? Now, this particular client uses his PC a lot. He's not always at his PC, but he was finding it difficult really to engage with the mobile device. I think it was the fat finger or fat thumb syndrome he complained about. One of the things I said was that you really do need to start getting more comfortable with the mobile device, because it allows you to respond so much more quickly, whether you're sitting on a train or waiting for a meeting or wherever you may be, than having to wait to get back to your PC later in the day. Now, before we finish this week, there is one other feature that I want to show you, and this all relates to something I mentioned in a previous post about sending personalized invitations to connect. And a lot of people believe that you can't do so on a mobile device, or not sure how to do that. So let's just quickly cover that. I've got a list of people here who are second degree connections to me, and let's click on Jeffrey's profile as an example here. We open up Jeffrey's profile, and in the top right hand corner you can see these three white horizontal dots. Now if I click on that dot, you can see here that the third option down allows you to personalize an invitation with the usual restriction of 300 characters. You don't have to say how you know the person, but that's how you find it. Same on the iPad or tablet devices as well. So no excuse for not sending a personalized invitation. The beauty of it is now on the mobile devices and the new look LinkedIn is if someone sends you a personalized invitation, you can see the opening line of that message really clearly now, so you know that somebody has invited you to connect. So I hope that's been a useful video for you again this week. I hope you're getting to grips with the new look LinkedIn profile. If you've got any questions, please leave a comment on my blog. Any comments that you've got at all will be greatly appreciated. And if we're not already connected, please do so. And I look forward to receiving that invitation.